Hey everyone, this is Adam, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick tutorial on how to export your images from Figma into an animated PNG file using the Tiny Image plugin. So to get started, all we need to do is go to our Figma file, click on the little actions icon at the bottom here, and if you search for Tiny Image, so that's TinyImage, and if you click on the plugins item and then click on the Tiny Image result, you can run the plugin by either clicking on this little run button here, or I'd recommend clicking on the save button over here, and that's going to save it to your plugins list for easy access later. So I've already clicked on the save button, which is why it says remove. So I'm just going to go to my Figma canvas, just right click anywhere, go down to plugins, then go down to saved plugins and click on the Tiny Image item. And that's just going to run the plugin we saved a second ago. So for today's tutorial, we're not going to be focusing on any of the regular compression features of the plugin. We're going to be specifically focusing on how to export a number of selected layers out to an animated PNG file, or sometimes called an APNG file, and export that directly from Figma so we can use it on a website or a different application just like you would with a GIF file. So I'll show you how to do that now. So all you need to do is select the layers you want to export to an animated PNG. So select your Figma layers. So I'm just selecting these 6 for now. Then you want to click on this button in the plugin called Create GIF/MP4. So I'm going to click on that. And by default, you'll see that it's selecting the animated GIF option up here. So what we want to do is change this animated GIF option. So I'm just going to click on the drop-down list and I'm going to change that to animated PNG. So that's going to change the setting for the export to export APNG. So all you need to do now is basically animate or customize the animation of your Figma frames. So you can do things like change the timing per frame. So this is currently at ½ a second per frame. So you can change that if you want it to be longer or to be shorter. And you can just adjust that to whatever you like. And you can change the scaling. So if you want it to be double size or half size, what the current Figma layers are, you can change that. You can do things like add transitions. So if you want to add some transition effects, you can do that as well. But for today, I'm just going to keep it really simple and leave it as instant. And you can also change the quality setting down here. So I'm just going to leave all these as default for now. And then I'm going to click on the Export APNG button up here. So I'm going to click on that now. And that's basically going to go through my 6 Figma images. It's going to export those, generate an animated PNG file, or an APNG file, and then it's going to allow me to save that directly to my computer. So you can see it's just finished exporting that PNG file, so I'm just going to save that to my desktop, and you'll notice it's just saving it as a regular .png file. So I'm going to hit save, and if I now preview that on my computer, you can see that we've got this PNG file which animates just like a GIF file does, but we get the added benefit of PNG files having a much larger color range. So with GIFs, you're limited to 256 colors, so they can look a little bit washed out. But with animated PNG files, you get all the benefits of a regular PNG file, along with having it animated as well. So that's what that looks like there. The other thing we can do, which is also a benefit of PNGs, is add transparency. So for example, if we wanted to export these icons out, we can highlight our icon layers over here, click on the Create GIF button again, and you'll notice that by default it's got this black background. So that's coming from the default setting down here. We can change that to different colors if we want, but in this case we want it to actually be transparent. So I'm going to change that to enable transparent background, and you'll notice the preview's changed to show the transparency there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to click on the Export APNG file up here, and once you click on that button, you can then save that. So I'm just going to call this one icon.png. Save that to my desktop, and if I open that up, you can see we've got a transparent animated PNG file exported directly from our Figma layers. So again, this is really good because it gives us that sharp edge transparency, whereas with GIFs, a lot of the time with transparent GIFs, you get a lot of artifacts around these transparent areas. So the animated GIF format isn't ideal for transparency a lot of the time. So with the PNG file, you get a lot more color range and also sharpness around the transparent areas. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to run through that process for you so you can use this with your own files. As I said, there's a bunch of settings you can tweak down here. So for example, if you want lossless quality, you can enable that. that basically just doesn't apply any compression, so it gives you a full color range for your exported animated PNG files. But if you turn that off and then adjust this, that's basically going to adjust the quality level by changing the number of colors that get included in the PNG. So for example, if you have a lower quality, it might set it to something like 256 colors, which is the same as what a GIF color range would be. And if you bump that up more, it's just going to kind of increase the number of colors and therefore increase the file size, but also increase the quality or the perceived quality based on the additional colors that get added to the animated PNG files. So yeah, feel free to play around with all of those settings, but we'll leave it there for today. I hope that's been helpful. If you've been wondering how to create an animated PNG file directly from Figma, you can do that using this export APNG button or feature in the Tiny Image plugin now. So again, all you have to do is go down to these image format settings, change it from GIF to animated PNG, and now you can export these animations just like you would to a GIF, but to an animated PNG file format instead. So that might be more useful depending on what your use case is. But yeah, feel free to give the animated PNG feature a try, and hopefully it helps with your workflows and your assets that you're exporting from Figma. So thank you as always for watching, and we'll be back with more Figma tutorials like this one very soon.